All right, all right. We back, we back. I want to give a minute to let some folks jump on before we really get rolling. If you hop on, share this, tell everybody to tap in. All right. So we're back with another season of Fuel or Crutch podcast. Let's talk about it. I do have a very special guest that I'm bringing in, someone who's pretty well known in the community, I'd like to say. I'm going to allow him to share his testimony and what he's doing and what he's been doing. But again, this is the fourth season. I had a special over the summer, and I think this season 4 is going to be geared around community, just because community is huge to me, and I've learned more and more and more about community in general. So without further ado, drop the intro and we're going to get to it. All right, like I said, we're back, season 4, episode 1, Fuel or Crutch podcast. We got my guy, Keon. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
What up, world? This is your boy Keon Andre from DLK Printing, Mr. Providing all your apparel printing needs. You know what I mean? What's going on? How you feeling today, Jamal?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Man, blessed. Fresh off the highway. Doing my due diligence as a friend and as a brother. But I'm back. I'm feeling great, and I'm ready to jump into this conversation.
Well, let's do it. All right. Hey, please, as y'all tapped in and sharing this with anybody and everybody, don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat. We like to answer questions live just because we know it's important, and we think that we got good information that we might be able to share. So again, without further ado, let's get it going. So, Keon, please tell everybody where you from and where you grew up.
I'm from Hammond, Indiana. You know what I'm saying? 219 is the area code, right over the state line from Chicago. Born and raised, probably moved up to Wisconsin, late 90s. Experienced some culture shock from Hammond, Gary to Sun Prairie. You hear me? And yeah, that's where I'm from. But this is where I've been for the last few decades, and I've been welcomed with open arms. And I appreciate all the friendships and relationships that I've built here, including yourself, for sure.
So you said you moved to Sun Prairie. When did you move to Sun Prairie?
96.
So I want everybody to really understand. Sun Prairie of today was not Sun Prairie of the mid 90s.
Negative. Yeah, it was different.
So talk about that, because that's got to be a different environment as well. So, like, how old were you when you moved here?
16.
So you went to high school. You finished high school there.
Man, it was tough, man. I had to transition and go to MATC and get an HSED because it was a crazy environment. Now, don't get it twisted. I have friends of all nationalities and ethnicities to this day that I met from Sun Prairie, from German to Caucasian to Indian to Black, etc. But where I'm from, everybody was poor. You feel me? What up, Troy? That's one of the guys I met from Sun Prairie. But we didn't know about Hicks, and we didn't know about Jocks, and we didn't know about all this different stuff that I learned about once I got to Sun Prairie in the mid to late 90s. But it was different, man. Like, I didn't know what it was, but it definitely was culture shock. I went through a lot of different things, but I met some amazing people who I'm still in contact with today. have relationships. People have families now and careers, and some of those same relationships that has helped me in business today for sure.
Cool. So what was your dream as a kid, like career wise?
I was the kid that wanted to be a hooper at 5'6". You hear me?
Oh, tell them about it. Could you go though? That's the $1,000,000 question.
Could I go? Ask cats around here. Yeah, you know, they know what it is. You know, shout out to Will Smith and Roy Boone and everybody I played ball with around here, man. I love playing ball. Shout out to my mans who I took $1,000 from. You know, I know that video went viral out here, but
oh, playing at the Princeton Club.
You remember that?
Yeah. Thanks. I do remember.
No, that's my guy though. Shout out to him. But no, man, like I wanted to play ball and had a lot of recommendations and things like that when I left from Indiana. And when I got out here, like I said, man, it was different where I'm from. If you good, you just good. And I got out here and it was different. I didn't know about booster clubs and parents paying and
politics
and the politics of it. You know what I mean? All I knew was that my guy Steve Maselter was cold, and then he had Kurt on the point guard and some other guys out there, and they was just happy that I was able to be a part of their team. But the coach was like, "Nah, like you're not even good to me anyway." And that was, I don't know if I should even say that, but it was Coach Boone. I think he had just started out in Sun Prairie, and right at the end of the season, he invited me into into his office and said some things to me, knowing that I was immature and would react the way he wanted me to react and the way I did. And he was like, "I'm happy you did that. You're off my team." And ever since then, I was just like, "Cool, man. I guess I won't be playing basketball for anything other than a hobby now." So, but
right. So
yeah.
this is gonna go off the grid then, as far as a question. So, did you feel that you understood at that time the difference between responding emotionally and logically?
After that incident and after replaying it in my head, yeah, because after I did, I was like, wow, that's what he wanted me to do. You know what I mean? I didn't even, I was too young and immature to think about being proactive instead of reactive. And so I went in there probably already with heightened emotions. And then when something was said to me in a negative light, I responded to it, and I was like, wow, that was the setup. You know,
the setup for failure. And I do believe that, more kids need to understand that, just because sometimes we're being tested on purpose. And I mean, it sucks that way, but sometimes people are literally testing you to see how you're going to respond and hoping that you take the bait and throw, certain aspects of what you wanted away.
Correct. Kind of like that last debate we just watched it, but we ain't got to go into we ain't got to go into politics. But you just dangle a little bait, and sometimes ego and pride will allow you to crash and burn. What's up, Big Mike?
Yeah, and look, the kids calling it already, like that's their thing. They're crashing out. That's the new term now.
Yeah,
and the crazy thing is they know it, but they don't understand it and take that time just to check themselves. Okay. So, based on some of those experiences that you've learned from and grown from, did you have any influential people growing up back in Hammond or even here just to help you navigate some of that, or was it more just on you?
Well, I have family, right? I have family who held me close and in high regard and wanted the best for me. I had teachers that wanted the best for me as well. But like most kids in a single parent household, growing up in the 90s, you gravitated towards your street family. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, sometimes your street family are sending you off as well to crash out and do things that probably is not in your best interest as well. But what I would say that where I am from, it's definitely a close-knit community. Back then it was. Now everybody's kind of moved on to bigger places and spaces with better job opportunities and things, career opportunities. But yeah, I mean, the community was awesome. But it wasn't sweet. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a place to play. You know what I'm saying? If you ever heard of Gary or Chicago, then you know that why my mom moved me to some prairie for something better. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I completely understand. And so with some of that growth and some of that learning, I want to know what was your view on education then, and what your thoughts about it now are. Like, how do you see the odds, the differences of your thoughts from just the educational standpoint?
Um, I wish I would have took school more serious when I was in it. You know what I mean? Um, I didn't really take school as serious. Some of the subjects came easy to me. One of the more difficult subjects for me was math, and that's probably because I didn't pay attention. And in math, it moves fast, so you have to pay attention. But I wish I would have paid more attention in school. I value education now, just having the knowledge and the know-how, just for basic information, just learning how to study and research is important. And you do learn some of those skills. I mean, a lot of those skills in school. So, yeah, I definitely value education more. I'm happy that, my kids value education, and my nieces and nephews as well. So, for sure.
Cool.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did definitely. So we touched on one, just the emotional responses, which I think a lot of the youth are kind of plagued with in general, just because we just need that time to mature and grow, or just be coached through some of those things. What were some other struggles that you might have just faced or dealt with as your upbringing and navigating?
Um, Guidance, consistent guidance, maybe. Uh, you know, Even as a parent, I realized like telling somebody something and showing them something is two different things, right? So your parents always telling you what you need to do and how you need to do it, but as an adult, you see now that we do what we see, not what we're told most of the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We follow actions quicker than we follow words, right? Because I hear what you're saying, but I see what you're doing. Oh, don't smoke, but you over there smoking. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink and drive, but you drinking behind the wheel. Don't XYZ, but you doing XYZ. You know what I mean? I hate to use those examples, um, but that's a lot. My bad. I'm trying to read what Big
no,
Mike.
you good. I'm gonna read it after you get your thought out. Get it out.
Well, I'm going now with Big Mike. It is different, and I'm gonna tell you one thing that was hard for me when I moved up here. I hate to double back on the education tip, but so I'm like a junior where I was from, right? But when I got to Sun Prairie, boy, I was probably on Sun Prairie's freshman academia. You know what I mean? From where I
Yeah.
came from, it was just the levels of education was just so different, and I don't know if that meaning they were just passing me through, or
Well, I will say
were they
this.
just learning more at a quicker pace here?
So growing up, being here in Madison, like that's why the Madison is different, or Madison and Madison area is different now than what it was. Like we were heavy college prep in the area. I don't feel that it's the same anymore. I don't feel like the kids are as academically prepared to go off to college. And so, like, I remember when I was in high school, when I was in college, I read an article, I think in either Time or one of those magazines out in New York or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and it listed the top 100 high schools in the
Okay.
country, and Memorial and West were in the top 100.
Okay.
And I want to say a couple years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I went and I was trying to find like where those listings today would have been. And I want to say like neither one of those schools are even in the top 300 anymore.
Wow.
So like there's been a shift and a change, and I don't know what happened, why it happened, but something definitely happened. So that college prep, because I remember when I first went off to school, I didn't really know how to study, but I knew how to get schoolwork done. And I want to say my freshman year in college, like I don't really remember actually going above and beyond to try and do well, but I
Mhm.
had it been so prepared for that freshman level of college. Like without trying, I got a 2.75 without trying.
Wow, that's because of the prep they were teaching in MMSD back then.
Yes. Right? Yep. Okay. So you could come from a situation where it wasn't that strong and then come to something strong. You like, oh shit.
Yeah, and kind of like Big Mike said too, like down south, it just seems like they value education more. You know what I'm saying? Like they understand like the struggles it took for us to be able to have HBCUs or be able to attend these PWIs and things like that. So it's like second nature. Like seems like up north, like, oh, you turn 18, you got your diploma, you good. And they like, nah, you're not good till you at least got a bachelor's. Like, what are we talking about? You at minimum a 4-year degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just different up north. And I don't know if that's because we came up north and was, more so on the blue collar, just working. But man, I would have liked to have more of a entrepreneur mentorship coming up. You know what I mean? Somebody that say, okay, you don't like school. Well, okay, you can get these certifications, or these are the things you will need if you would want to go into
that's something that I've been learning more and more. Like, just the trades or just having exposure to it.
Yeah.
I went and sat in like a conversation or listening to somebody speak about welding.
Okay.
Man, there's so much that goes into welding. Like everything that you're around deals with welding. Like you'll always have a job if you know how to do welding. You'll always be able to make money. Like you sitting in that room, that door dealt with welding, the windows, like the whole nine. I was just like, wow. But it's stuff that we're not exposed to as the inner city kids.
Electricians, those guys make plenty money.
Plumbing. Not everybody wants to do that work, but guess what? You always gonna have work.
Hey, we're gonna always need some toilets fixed around here.
Man.
Yeah, and it goes deeper than that, but that's just on the surface. But yeah, the trades are it, man. And I think that's another thing that those being taken out of the schools it hurt too, because if you don't know what you don't know. But I did see, like I noticed lately, they've been bringing that back.
Yes, I'm glad that the conversation's being had. I'm glad that people that are in that industry are starting to share it with everyone and not just a select group. So I definitely feel like that's something that's going to be helpful to us in our community in the long run, which kind of just dives into my next kind of topic and question. Like, what does community mean to you?
I mean, well, I get asked this question a lot when I've had these type of discussions, and community goes way beyond the parameters of the mileage that you in. Community are the people that you deal with on a regular basis. Your network is your community. You know what I mean? To me, these kids are my community. You know what I mean? And so you have a personal community of friends, you have a business community that you network with. And I think that's kind of what's missing nowadays, because, back in the day when you asked me earlier, who are some of my influences, a lot of the people were like parents to me growing up, because the community was different. You were parented by the community. Nowadays, you can't even say nothing to somebody kids
without somebody saying something,
without them getting out their body, without even understanding the context of what's even going on in that moment. You know what I mean? And they don't even understand. You're probably trying to protect your kid or teach them something, but unfortunately, it just seems like the community is not the community of old. And it sucks because I sound like my parents now, but it is what it is. I'm in that gray area, right? So
we understand it now.
Understanding is more than half the battle, right?
Yep, because I would definitely say that I was one of those that didn't really understand that level of community. Like I felt it, but I didn't quite understand it to a point where I could verbalize it. Like I didn't understand why we were calling people auntie and uncle that wasn't related to us. Like,
right.
Oh, I'm gonna respect them, but I don't like that ain't my auntie, that ain't my uncle. But you respected them and you took the knowledge that they gave you and ran with it.
Right.
So yeah. And just thinking about community on another level, like all the different communities we create for ourselves, like the way me, you, and probably 90 other people in Madison, Dane County area have connected with you to create a community for business.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a whole umbrella of people on your whiteboard that is a part of your DLK community.
That's true, man. I mean, one of my buddies who is a builder, shout out to Joey from Precise Builders. He was like, man, you should be a general contractor because your Rolodex is extensive from every trade you can imagine. And I have built a community. You know, I don't do a lot of marketing, but I have a lot of repeat business, and word of mouth has kept us afloat. So yeah, I do have a great business community filled with so many different types of people from different backgrounds and ethnicities that provide so many different type of services, including yourself. So I am grateful for that, for sure.
Thinking of even further, like just the community we've created with parenting, fatherhood. That's a community in itself. Black men coming together that we've problem solved together. We've had conversations and answered each other's questions that deal with, man, how do I navigate this? How do I expose somebody to this? And being able to pick each other's brain off. Well, this is what I've done before. This is what worked. This may not work for you, but hey, it might be something to try.
That's a fact. So if you know Dane County, you know, or just being a Black father in this country or community, you know how it could be. It has evolved, and I'm so grateful to see it because there's so many people that look like you and myself that take pride in being a parent, whether it's a single parent or holding down a 5, 10, 20-year relationship or marriage. But yeah, man, I'm so grateful for the men that have stepped up to the responsibility of taking care of their children. I really, and I know I'm on the internet and it is what it is, but I really don't even like hanging with men that don't take care of their children. That's just to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like I can't see myself, even though I don't really do this like I used to, but even when I was younger, being in the club with you and you just bought a section or a bottle, but you got 1 or 2 kids over here that need some shoes, or you can't even take them to practice or something. You know what I mean? Or it just don't, that's never added up to me. So, but I do appreciate men like yourself and the conversations that we have, and just different people that leaned on me because of my experience in parenthood and different other subjects that evolve that, and people I've been able to ask questions and get great answers or advice or point in the right direction as well.
Yeah, and man, I remember I got a buddy, Alan White, that's out in Detroit. Shout out to Al. Al created a kind of like a shirt design or whatever that had no deadbeats allowed.
Yeah. Hey, I like that, man. What my guy Tim Shep from Indiana used to say, dads before duds or something like that. Like, we just not going, bro. Like,
and I believe we're part of the era, or the era generation or whatever, that changed the narrative of Black men not being present.
Facts.
Because we know that there was a strong my experience was they wasn't around.
Well, that was by design too, right? So I mean, that's a whole nother deeper conversation where we're talking about drugs and
mass incarceration
and things of that nature. But I am happy that a lot of men take pride in going to work every day and not getting caught up in the system, even though a lot of us have made mistakes. But a lot of us are not the same people we were 20 years ago, 15, not even 2 years ago. So that's a blessing, right?
Yep. Sticking to the script of kind of like community, like what are some of the things you like to do to give back?
So being that I am a business owner, I do sponsor things when I can and how I can, right? I get asked on a regular to sponsor different things, but I can only do so much. So, I like to sponsor events in some capacities. What I really like to do is I love having kids come through. Sometimes they call them troubled youth, but there are different programs that bring kids to my shop, and I like to show them. They love seeing people like me. I've had kids say, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna even lie. If it wasn't you, I wouldn't even engaged in what is going on today, which is being brought to your shop, getting a simplified version of entrepreneurship, learning embroidery, screen printing, what a DTF transfer is, what heat transferring is, what a heat press is. So I love doing that. I get joy from it, and it's cool to see a light bulb go off in the kid's head where they understand something, they have questions, or even find an interest in something other than a sport or whatever's going on in the street or in music and entertainment. You know what I mean?
Man, and this is an out. It's an outlet. It's an out. It's an out to get a means to getting away from some of the foolishness and stuff that we see on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you hit it on the head. Like, exposure is key. Like, I feel like if more kids were exposed to more things, they will find more. They will find more things that they're interested in. You know what I mean? So I appreciate all the different programs like Urban League, CEOs of Tomorrow, Dear Diary, Madeum, Eubank Solutions, and just all the people that are doing their due diligence to just give these kids exposure to things that they probably wouldn't even hear about in their household on a day-to-day for whatever reason.
Nope, I completely agree. So I kind of want to pivot just a little bit and just first off talk about your business and everything that that entails, and more matter of fact, just Keon as a brand, because it's bigger than just the DLK printing. There's the music and the clothing. So like, go ahead and pour into that. Let's get that out.
So I'm not going to go too far into the music. You know what I'm saying? Even though that is my passion, I promise anybody who's watching this, if it was my perfect scenario, I would be doing music and entertainment today and doing my best to groom up and coming artists and teaching them the ups and downs of music industry. Unfortunately, life has pushed me in a different direction. As you see, I got the Keon Andre hat on. So I started this company, DLK Printing, and everybody always asks me, what is DLK? DLK are the abbreviations of my kids' name. So when I don't even feel like getting up and coming to work, I look at that logo and I get up. You know what I mean? Because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for them, right? And DLK was created because I had a different individual doing my printing. Because when I was performing and doing music as an independent artist, how you make money is merchandising. And a gentleman told me, like, hey, you can do this on your own. So he walked me through the basics of how to get it started and what they were doing. And so I bought my first piece of equipment probably about 7 years ago now, probably about 7 years ago. And that same piece of equipment is how I started DLK Printing. And maybe like 2020 is when I really started to take it serious.
Pandemic.
Yeah. So like I wasn't, and my bro, shout out to James Sutton from Judy's and Smart Cleaning Solutions. He was like, man, won't you come over here to my shop? Won't you take this back room? People take you more serious if you got a brick and mortar. And me and you can bounce ideas and throw things on this whiteboard and figure it out. And we hustled and grind. And I think maybe like between 10 and I don't know the exact amount of time, but between 10 and 14 months later, I took over that whole suite and I just started moving at a different pace. The pandemic actually didn't hurt me. It helped me because of the service industries, right? All the essential workers still needs to dress appropriate for their different careers, right? Whether it was construction or electrician or plumbing or whatever. And a lot of people wasn't working, but I was every day. Shout out to my guy, JP, because, he took over this complex where I'm at and they always looking out for us over here. So, but anyway, man, long story short, man, I own a company called DLK Printing. We specialize in embroidery, screen printing, full color DTF transfers. We not only put those on garments, we sell those individually if you like them. We also do branding, graphic design over here in-house, and we also specialize in getting you any promotional product that you can think of. Just an example, my guy has a football league, Jamal. He said, man, can you, I bet you can't get me this. I say, what is it? He said, can you get me an inflatable tunnel with my logo on it so my team can run out of it at our done? What size you need? You feel me? So all I ask people is to do this. Before you go somewhere else or think that I can't do it, ask me first. You know what I mean? Sublimated tablecloths. Matter of fact, yours is ready. Matter of fact.
Hey!
While we talking about it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that determination to succeed. Yeah, that tablecloth looking nice.
You probably can't see that, but yeah.
I can see a little bit of it. Yeah, that look nice.
Yeah, man. So when you get here, we got your sublimated tablecloth, retractable banners, yard signs, pencils, pens, lapel pins, whatever you can think to put your logo or your likeness on. We definitely got you over here. So
you heard it. He said, come to him first.
Just ask.
Give him a chance. Give him a chance, and he's going to blow your mind is basically what he's saying.
That's the goal, to turn your vision into reality over here. That's our tagline for sure.
But go step further. What you've done for me, you've created an online store for me.
So when I say promotional products and when I say graphic design, we also do web stores. So what that means, we can, let's say if you have an event coming up, whether it's a family reunion, an event like Jamal had with his mentorship program, and you want to sell some merchandise, we can create a web store with whatever garments you want on it, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, etc. We can put it up for you with a countdown clock, send you the link, and you can send it all out to all your to your demographic of consumers, and we can handle that for you. We buy the merch, we print the merch, we can ship it out, or you can pick it up right here at DLK Printing, located at 582 Grand Canyon Drive. Yeah.
Oh man, listen, I'm all for promoting the businesses. One, did you also just hear about the community that you create? You talked about, like, you've already just promoted Matum, Urban League, Judy's Cleaning. Like, you're still talking community, and I don't want that to go over anybody's head.
Man, so it's so many people that help me and continue to help me on my journey of entrepreneurship. Shout out to Jeff Mack at Park Bank. Shout out to Sabrina over there at the Progress Center for Black Women. Like, it's so many people in this community that reach out to me, that send business that my way, who lend me a hand, who pull me up and show me the right way to do things. So I'm just grateful for any opportunity and for the people who say my name in rooms that I'm not in. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that. Shout out to Renee. Used to be my banker over there at UW Credit Union. Now I think she's over there at Boys and Girls Club. So it's so many different people that continue to show me love, and I'm just grateful for it.
No, that's what's up. So again, I think all of us understand, like, we appreciate people that appreciate us, and if we get an opportunity to support, we do. Shouting you out or whatever it is, whether it be on a logo or a flyer or whatever the case is, we try and help and promote, which is why I know me and Keon have connected and had conversations on many different levels. Right. But thinking about that entrepreneurship grind and journey, like, how long did it take you to see before you started to see like gains? Because I know people said like the first couple years of business, it can be rough.
So it's a great question. So maybe a few years, especially. So the thing with me is, it was cool when it was just me. Mm-hmm. But you know, like I said, nobody really took me up under their wing initially and told me about how to structure a business properly, and processes and procedures and taxes and all the things that's very important for you to sustain, right? And I didn't know a lot of that stuff, and I had to learn a lot of that stuff along the way. But you know, I have had people that connect me with their CPAs or financial advisors, and they have been showing me the rope. So I'm extremely grateful for them. But as you grow and you want to get better, you know, anything that you do takes a team. So, you know, like my guy Twan from Jackson Care, when we first had the first meeting, man, just put that money back into the business, put that money back into the business. And that's what I do, man. And now as I'm growing, I'm putting my money into creating a great team and a great environment. And that's one thing about being an employer. I also had to learn how to be a good employer and valuing your employees. So I've been learning a lot on this journey, and I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like we just talked about before we went on line, these kids don't understand. We're still evolving, even as adults. And if you're not learning, you're not growing. And I appreciate learning from anyone nowadays, for sure.
Man, I was listening to a podcast today, and he said, you know, you either grow or you die. Like you don't stay the same. Every day you either growing or you dying.
Yeah.
He was like, he chose the path of growth. And I was like, man, that makes so much sense, which is why like that grind is important to us. Now, do we want to grind forever? No, at some point we want to get to a place where we can coast and just sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But, you know, that takes a realistic timeline.
It does, man. That's why those 5-year plans and goals are important. So you can see what worked, what didn't work, and the steps that you're taking so you can start crossing them off your list. And as I've been growing in entrepreneurship, and while I was talking about team is I read something that said, man, you either delegate or suffocate. And
man,
you can't do it all on your own. It's not enough time in a day. And, you know, there were days where I was working 12, 14 hours and I started to get burnt out and I didn't enjoy it anymore. And as I built my team and continue to build my team and be able to delegate tasks, and we just form like Voltron over here and get things done. And I'm just grateful for the people God blessed me with, for sure.
And that's dope because that self-assessment of understanding you need to delegate or suffocate, I think that's been one of my biggest struggles right now. And I'm working on it. I'm learning and I'm using that. So now I'm trying to create a team for support to do different things that I got on the horizon. So definitely respect that and appreciate you sharing that. What I want to also talk about, just as an entrepreneur, speak on the importance of networking and branding.
Super important. My logo, it's funny. I went to a meeting over at the Progress Center and they had somebody over there that specialized in marketing and branding. And everybody was showing their logos and they were like, man, your logo is perfect because it's universal. You change it with colors and silhouettes and everything. The only thing that I would change about your logo is it used to say printing inside of the L. And it wasn't really noticeable. So people would wonder what DLK is. And when I was at that meeting, I had a polo where all my polos say DLK. It has the printing under it. And she was like, why isn't your logo on your cards like that or on your business sign and all this different stuff? So I was happy that somebody pointed that out because it was something I needed to change. And it was in my subconscious, but I didn't actually act on it. So I was grateful for that. And I wouldn't have known about that if I wasn't at a networking event. Right?
Fair.
So my biggest thing from day one is networking. When I first started this business, I was going to conferences. I was getting educated on what I wanted to do. And I was meeting people from across the country in the same industries, sharing knowledge and information. So I just got back from InvestFest.
I was just about to ask, talk to me about InvestFest because I saw a bunch of people there. Even a couple of people. I didn't go, but I saw and followed people on social media that were there, and I was like, "Oh man, this might need to be something that I invest in going to."
So, oh man, I can't believe I just did that. So, shout out to everybody I popped out with to InvestFest. It was an amazing event. I can't even really get my thoughts out right now, but I had went with Tara, and she owns a nonprofit here. What's Tara's nonprofit? She has a couple of them. I feel like an idiot right now. But I went down there with Tara, And she said, Keon, I don't have a couple of my things that I can get to. If you can bring a retractable banner, some marketing material, and a sublimated tablecloth, you can take over my booth. What a blessing, right? So I caught a flight and I went down there and I met some amazing people with, if I go through my long, Matt right now from South Carolina, he texts me at 5 o'clock. Justo from over east in Chicago, he texted me earlier on my other phone. 4 different people I've talked to in the last 24 hours from InvestFest from 4 different states in this country. You feel me? Like, and we're still working, and that's just the minimum of 4 people. I probably then done business with 12 people since I've been back. So networking is important. Networking is important. I'm building a community across state lines just by networking, and I met some amazing people. I learned a lot about myself. What I really learned from InvestFest, and which I already knew, but just brought it back to the surface, is what my strong suit is. And I know how to do everything in my shop, but I need to be out talking to people and closing deals. That's my strong suit. I'm a great communicator. I'm knowledgeable about what I'm selling, which is my business. And I don't know how to shake hands and kiss babies. You know what I'm saying? I should be a politician. But yeah, man, that's my strong suit. Communicating effectively with people, sharing knowledge about the service that I offer, and closing the deal. That's what God blessed me with. That's my strength.
All right, so we'll talk about that a little later. So just going into that entrepreneurship mindset and spirit, like talk about the level of confidence you need to do it, because you'll second guess a lot.
2014 was my last time I clocked in at somebody else's place of business. I don't like being told that you're fired. I don't like being told that I can't take my child to a doctor's appointment. I don't like not having the flexibility to do what I need to do for me and my family. So with that being said, I need to build something that can create revenue streams I need something to supplement that then, right? Okay. If I'm not going to be able to work for them, I need to be able to have revenue streams so I can take care of my family. And fear would kill most dreams. You know what I mean? And I think it does. And I think there's fear that stopped me from doing a lot of things in my path to stop me from doing what I really wanted to do. But I can't allow that anymore. You know what I mean? As an entrepreneur, it takes a certain level of confidence to be able to say, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to make this happen and make sure my mortgage is paid and my insurance is paid and you know what I mean? And I'm going to be able to, I got 4 employees. They family going to be straight because they counting on me as well for this payroll every 2 weeks to hit their direct deposit. And I'll tell you one thing, entrepreneurship is not for the weak, but if you have a plan and you execute and you come back to the table and see what worked and what didn't work and implement the things that did work and get rid of the things that didn't, I think you can be successful. I'll also tell you that your support system, God, first of all, let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? You got to have faith in something that's bigger than you to know that it's pushing you out there to live in your greatness, right? But yeah, man, you got to be a confident person to say, hey, I'm going to come up with a concept in my head. I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to go out into the world and make y'all believe it too, that I'm capable of doing what I say I'm going to do.
No, I love that. You also spoke on something earlier that made me think about mental health. Like when you were talking about delegate or suffocate, like, so how important was that entrepreneurship journey just for your own mental health?
Well, just having the flexibility. Like I said, me and you share different fatherhood experiences. So there was a time where I was single with children and just needing to have that flexibility, knowing that I can get off work and pick up my kids and get them on time, even though if I got to work a little later because I had to leave a little earlier. Just that relief of stress that's powerful, man. Like you can't pay for that.
Nope, you cannot.
You know what I mean? And oh man, I just lost my train of thought. What was your question again, bro?
Just like the mental health, like the importance of it, especially going into entrepreneurship, but hell, like you said, going into thinking of parenting, going into um, you know building community, because I guarantee you there's some communities that you've been included in that you've left from just because it didn't sit well with you.
For multiple reasons, and I just don't like toxic. The older I get, the further I want to get from anything that's toxic. And um, shout out to my guy who put me up on this. Two people did, Jamie, and I can't remember Jamie last name, and Drew Walls. They put me up on the 4 agreements. And I'm not perfect, but I promise you, I try to be impeccable with my speech. I try not to judge people. I try not to assume, and I try to do my best every day. You know what I'm saying? So that book, if you haven't read it, The 4 Agreements, it's a short read, but the concepts are very logical. And if you implement them, it kind of keep you away from them toxic environments, and it keeps your head where it needs to be.
No, yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
I
Shout
know
out to
that's right, Rochelle. Is that Rochelle? Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. That's what I was gonna say. Shout out to Miss Lighthouse. Thank you for tapping in, pulling up, and sharing Bible scriptures. So yeah, like just I understand that level of fear because it probably stopped me from so many things.
Right.
But when you know better, you do better. And so now that we're on a path of knowing better, we're also trying to share that information with others so you can get out of your own way as well.
Facts.
Um, I mean, so like thinking about this from a youth perspective, what's something that you would tell your younger self? Just some
Go
advice that
all
you
out. Go all out. If you believe you can achieve it, go do it. Take Man, education is key. Knowledge is key. You know what I mean? Study out. Hey, when you go to school, it's cool to go there and get them A's and B's, but study outside of school as well. You know what I mean?
man,
Go learn on your own, because everything is not in the textbook at school. So, to sum it up, I would tell my younger self, just believe in yourself. Don't be a follower. Believe in yourself. Don't be a follower. Education is going to be a part of whatever you're trying to achieve. Because if you don't know, if you don't know what you don't know, and follow your dreams, man. Do not. If I tell my younger self, fear is not an option. You hear me?
yes, sir.
And like Zalanda just said, if you believe in yourself, others will too. And I walk like that, and I talk like that. Whatever room I'm trying to be in, that's how I present myself. And I literally just had a conversation with somebody before I got on the Zoom with you, and they were telling me how they were about to go into a meeting with a very um, financially a very wealthy person, right? And they were gonna, tell them how much they appreciate them and how much they need them. And this is the most. I said, bro, don't do that. Walk in that meeting like you're supposed to be in that meeting. You know what I mean? Stand tall. Tell them you appreciate their time, but don't make it seem like they your end all be all. And that's how I'm living, man. I walk in meetings like I'm supposed to be here, and I try my best to listen more than I speak. But when I do speak, I try to make sure that my words hit they target.
Nope, I appreciate that for sure.
Twan, what up, my boy?
As long as you stay proactive, you'll never be reactive. Listen,
I know
that
that.
is something that I've been talking about, which is literally why I decided that I was doing that back to school summit, because I wanted to be proactive versus reactive. So that work that I've been doing and putting out there has been super helpful for a number of people, including myself. And just giving those students that opportunity to catch that information before school started, because like I've had school districts that have literally loved the work that I've been doing, but they wait until November, December, February to get me to come in and work with students. and I'm doing this work, but sometimes it's so reactive. It's like putting a band-aid on a wound that needs to be severed. Like
Right.
those kids have fallen down a path and ready to give up or already checked out. I ain't trying to hear nothing from nobody else. And so now you're playing catch up. But when you had a deficit beforehand, if you start putting that work in beforehand on a proactive side, it makes it so much easier and manageable because everybody gonna have a rough day.
Facts.
There's not a person that's on this live. There's not a person that I've ever interviewed, including myself, that ain't had a bad day. And
I
so
agree.
how do we approach it when you know better? So learning it and moving forward on a proactive tip is something that I'm going to keep stressing. And so you'll see me doing the summit again next year. And you'll see me doing it again after that. The goal is for it to be an annual event and just to give those skills and tools to the individuals that participate moving forward.
As you should. I think it's a great program. I think most parents in the city should take advantage of it. And I just think the more you put yourself out there, you start hitting these conferences with your merch.
Thanks.
Start,
That tablecloth going to be out there.
Your retractable banner up, your marketing material, and
it's go time.
It's go time because like they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So you got to get out there in their face, bro. And that's what I learned going to Invest Fest when I pulled up. People don't know. I answered a lot of amazing questions, and people call me every day now, whether they want to do business with me or not. You know what I'm saying? They at least ask, we're working together, bro. They learning from me, and I'm learning from them as well. What's up, Twan? Hello, world. What's up, man?
Hello, world. So I know you told me that it's more up and coming. What can you share anything or sprinkle a little bit so that people know what's coming?
So I'm gonna put this in the universe. Like I told you before, my goal is to help kids, and it doesn't mean that like troubled youth. Anyone who has an interest in what we do over here, I would love to create a mentorship program where I can potentially even groom future staff and leadership over here. I would love to have. So I had a info. I did it once. Shout out to my guy Chris over at East. Not Chris, Corey. I'm sorry, Corey over at East. He helped me create what we call the info session / workshop. And I would like to, and I did it over at East, and it was amazing. And I wrote up a proposal to MMSD, and it got approved. But I don't know what happened last year, so I'm gonna have to revisit that. But the info session / workshop is where I go in and I talk to students about the basics of entrepreneurship, and then I have a hands-on portion of it, which the kids love, where they can come. I bring like pre-printed decals from the DTF, and then they can heat press their own hoodies, t-shirts, or whatever. And the kids obviously love that part, right? They're making their own gear. They feeling like young flying flag. Yeah. Right. So I would love to have some type of program where I was mentoring and grooming kids who were interested in this trade, screen printing, embroidery, and things of that nature, just overall print shop, graphic design, etc. Obviously, my goal is, like we said, is to not be in here every day. So I'm building a team over here and putting the process and procedures in place where I don't have to be here every day. And we know that takes money. So I'm just investing. Well, I'm just investing in my business. I'm investing in my craft, and I'm investing in my team because, I want the people that come here understand there's going to be room for growth, and I want to pay them accordingly and competitively so that they understand, like, I'm not trying to lowball them. I want them here, and I'm willing to pay for their time and for us to grow together as a family and as a business. And then obviously next from that is getting out of this retail strip and purchasing my own building. So
man, that's what's up.
That's what's up on the that's what's up with me, and that's what we're working towards over here for sure.
Cool. Yeah, and for me, what I'm working on is I was trying to create a mentoring program for in the community versus just at these individual schools. So that way I can, show kids more, like connecting with you for as exposure to they can see that world of entrepreneurship, and then just that kind of printing. Also, I was trying to do that so I can connect with J&K Solutions, which is on Park Street, because I talked to the big guy, Jeff Beckman Jr., who's now in charge. He wanted to do some collaboration to do like an apprenticeship, so that way students can learn about that trade world as well. So that's something that I want to do. And we're still working behind the scenes for. I had a couple parents interested, ended up changing their mind, which is okay. But also the next thing I'm doing is next Saturday, I'm hosting a free workshop. And it's going to is being seen and heard. The parent-child dynamic is for the parent and the child to try and come and do the workshop together. I think too many times the parents want to be heard, the children want to be seen, and how we do that is bringing them together to kind of go through the work together. Too many times I believe that the kids look at us as adults or parents or as in our big ages and like, hey, you're a finished product. But like you said, we're forever evolving, we're changing, we're still chasing goals and working toward them. And I don't believe our kids really quite understand, like, I'm still working to better myself. I'm working to change things for my future and for theirs, because that's where we leaving for them to make things easier and better for them. So next weekend, Saturday, I will share the link later, but it's literally going to be held at the UW South Madison Partnership, 2238 South Park Street. It's free, but there are limited seats, so I will share my link so that way individuals can hop on and register. Again, it is free. You'll get the work done, and hopefully you'll be able to bring your child. If not, just come and do it anyways. I promise you'll gain so much from it, because so much of it is us getting out of our own way first.
Amen.
And so that's something that I've got going. And again, I plan to do the Back to School Summit again for a second one, and then we're just going to keep growing and building from that.
That sounds epic. Like I told you, I wish I can come next Saturday. But I'm a new sports parent out here, so
yeah, you about to build a whole new community. You got a whole new sports. You about to join the sports dad community.
Yep. So I got 2 kids in 2 different sports next Saturday at the same time. So I'm excited about that. And Miss Lighthouse, I agree. It does take a village, and that network, being your network, is more truthful today than ever. I'm trying to put a little bit more light on my face. It got dark outside, so I feel like
you ain't the only one. It's all right.
But I hope people do come out. I hope you do reach capacity next weekend. I think everything that you're doing is great. I think it's epic. And as you say, iron sharpens iron. If anyone in the community needs any apparel printing needs, look no further than DLK Printing. Do not try to put us in a box and just say we are Black owned. We just own. You hear me? We just own things over here. You hear me? DLK Printing, 582 Grand Canyon Drive. You can DLK Printing on all social media. www.dlk-printing.com. Embroidery, screen printing, web stores, graphic design, promotional products. We got you.
Hey man, I definitely appreciate you tapping in. I think this was a great opportunity to showcase who you are, where you come from, your background, and how you still trying to build and want to grow the community.
1,000%, man. I really appreciate you having me. I appreciate being a part of your community from so many angles. I seen Big Mike was on here. Shout out to him. He been holding me down since I've become a part of this community, and even as of late, he ordered stuff for me all the way from Florence, where he's a program director. So I appreciate everybody from Madison holding me down, everybody from the 219 and nationwide, man. Let's continue to grow as a people. Like you say, iron sharpens iron, my boy.
Yes, sir. So, hey, with that being said, hold tight. But I appreciate everybody tapping in, and we'll be making sure to do another show next month. So appreciate you.